Hey guys, Andy here. So we have today the Realme X2 Pro. I bought it from Wonder Mobile. I've bought a couple of phones from them now. Seem pretty reliable. I paid this £7 extra to have the quicker delivery. It's coming about 5 or 6 days, which is pretty good. And I paid about £400, I think. So the Realme X2 Pro. It's one of them devices that comes along a bit like the Pocket Phone did, where everyone goes, oh my God, can you believe the specs we're getting for the price we're paying? And I'll go through some of the specs in a moment. Let's do the actual unboxing bit. So Realme are, I believe, or they were once part of Oppo, and I think perhaps they sort of separated. I think it's the first Realme device I've bought. It comes with sort of rubbery case. I think that's all that's in there. And I'm guessing, well, whatever that is, I'm not all that interested. Let's pop the case aside. Here's the actual device. As you can see, I got it in white. I think it was available in a blue as well. And we'll come back to that in a second as well. Let's just check what else. So we have a Type-C charging cable, a SIM ejector tool, and then a, what's that, European charging brick. But they did throw in, I mean, obviously, to be honest, I'm gonna just charge using my own chargers, so that's not really a problem. Let me see if I can see what it says charging wise. 50 watts charging, 100% in 35 minutes. Wow. Maybe I will try this then, we'll see. But that's kind of the box done. Let's unwrap. So you may know, if you're a subscriber, I've recently swapped over to a Pixel 4. So the size, I'm going back up to review this one to a bigger device. This being 199 grams, 8.7 millimeters thick. It certainly looks very nice. That's a really nice sort of, I don't know what you call that, pearlescent, marble-esque? No, pearlescent, I guess. So we've got volume rockers on the left side, we've got the power on the right side, the SIM tray top right, perhaps a mic for noise cancellation, a mic, speaker. It's kind of a funny rut along the bottom there. Oh, and a headphone jack. Wowzers. Let's start it. It certainly feels good in the hand. It's funny, this day and age, even if this is kind of, I suppose this is mid-range, it still feels very premium. Feels really good. Let's talk through, while it's booting up, some of the specs. So I've mentioned the weight and the thickness. 8.7, oh, it's there already. It looks very Samsung-like at this point. Even the wallpaper, I don't know, it just reminds me of Samsung. So you can see there the teardrop notch. Oh, and we're in. Apparently we've got a notification in settings. Update to the newest version. So I won't do that just yet. It always makes me a bit nervous when you get these devices and they're already kind of set up and logged in. But at the same time, if I wipe it, there's a reasonable chance I've not got the Play Store on it. So I think I'll trust them and go with it. So I do need to set up a Wi-Fi connection so that in fact, how did it know it needs an update if it's not connected to the Wi-Fi? So let me just do that. First thing I've noticed, I'm not a massive fan of the haptics on the keyboard. I mean, I'm generally not on phones. The Pixel actually does a really good job with that. I'll try not to keep referring to the Pixel, just reasonable point of reference. So I think we are now connected. Brino feed. So we're running ColorOS, I believe. Where is it going to tell me about ColorOS? I can't see right now, but I'm fairly sure it's ColorOS. From what I understand, they're gradually trying to make it a little bit more sort of stock. Like, yeah, here we go, ColorOS 6.1. So Android 9.0, it's got a planned upgrade to 10, but it's running ColorOS 6.1. So let's carry on with the specs, I guess. So it's a Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen. 6.5 inches. It's about 84.9 screen to body ratio, because there are bezels. They're not huge. I think for mid-range, that's kind of what you would expect. Losing my place. So it's 24,000 or 2400, sorry, by 1080 pixels, which is a 20:9 ratio, and about 402 pixels per inch, pretty good. Protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5. It says in the specs, and I'm reading off GSM Arena, 1000 nits max brightness. That is pretty crazy bright. I mean, that does look very bright, really bright. I have my own light meter, so I will be testing that in time for the review. It says it's 90 Hz screen, great, HDR 10 plus, DCI P3 100%, I don't know what that bit means. The chipset is the Snapdragon 855 Plus, the 7nm, basically the latest, most recent Snapdragon you can get. It's got an octa-core CPU, it's got the Adreno 640 GPU, it says in brackets 700 MHz. There's no card slot. This one, I forget actually, I think is 64 gig. So, sorry, yeah, this is the 128 gig version with 8 gig of RAM. What else to know? So the cameras on the back. Main camera, 64 megapixel f1.8 wide angle. Not bad. 13 megapixel f2.5 telephoto, which is 52 mil, if you know what that means. Then we've got an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide. So certainly I shall be looking forward to using ultra wide. I do miss it. Well, I say I miss it. I've not, there's been a couple of times, to be fair, in the last week with my Pixel that I've wanted to go to ultra wide and I've not been able to, obviously. The front facing camera, 16 megapixel f2.0 HDR. I didn't mention, sorry, 4K 60 frames per second. So a lot of the specs on this device, they are beating the Pixel 4 of what it can do. Loudspeaker, yes. Dolby Atmos stereo speakers, 2 dedicated amplifiers. And as we've kind of mentioned, it does have the 3.5mm headphone jack. USB Type-C, as we've mentioned. Fingerprint, optical, under-screen fingerprint sensor. Oh, we're going, oh. Yeah. And it looks like gestures, obviously, as we kind of get so used to it these days, you just do it automatically. So I think at this point, is there anything else I've mentioned? Oh, it's a 4,000 milliamp hour non-removable LiPo battery. And I've mentioned the 50 watts, 100% in 35 minutes. I mean, that makes me think it doesn't slow down a lot of phones, they slow down the last kind of 15% or so, because I think it can damage the battery to fully fast charge all the way. But I mean, 35 minutes? I guess it just goes right the way through. Nah, have all the power, boom. So the colors, I think I mentioned, but Lunar White, Neptune Blue. There's also a red Master Edition and a grey Master Edition. I don't know actually what that means. So at this point, yeah, I will install a few things. We'll run a benchmark. I'll perhaps dash outside, take a couple of photos and a little bit of video so you can see that. We'll check the speakers and we'll play a bit of video on YouTube just to get a good first impression of it. So I've got Geekbench 4 running. I'll update it to 5 afterwards, which is the latest version, and we'll see what score that gets. A little tricky installing a third-party APK. So I installed Solid File Explorer. That's what I normally use. I downloaded my Geekbench 4 APK, and then when I tried to install it, it said, oh, we need to verify this or something like that. Okay, and I've got to log in for it to do this. So, okay, log in using my phone number, and the only prefix it had was +86. I don't know where that's from, but it wouldn't let me change to +44 for the UK, so I couldn't do it. But then I realized the inbuilt File Explorer let me install third party. And there we go, 10,313. That's a good score. That's where it should be. If I was guessing, that would have been around where I would have guessed it would have been. I don't know if there's anything else you want to see in that list, but that's kind of the score I was expecting to get. So let's have a look. In the gym, I'm streaming music. I've got the screen on quite a bit. Screen on time is 71 minutes. I've been doing quite a bit of 20 minutes of that, and it cost me about 5%. Probably isn't too bad actually. 20% an hour. And what worried me, I still lost 42% in those 4 hours, and that was probably only sort of a medium use really. I I was taking some photos, doing some video. I played a little bit of Mario Kart. I did have a sort of a 10-minute phone call. So, but then a lot of the rest of the time it was kind of downtime. That sounds pretty good. Sounds reasonably loud. The screen certainly looks nice and bright and vibrant. As I said, I'll do more testing, but early signs are it does looks to be a very nice screen. I'm going to assume actually it might take, it's going to take a bit too long to try and install Mario and have a play. Let's get that installing perhaps. What else? We've done Geekbench on YouTube. Oh yes, a photo. So I did, the camera app is a bit odd. I suppose I don't like anything that's not sort of stock camera, I suppose. I took a few photos. I've not really had a chance to have a proper bit of an analyze, but took a couple of photos of outside using sort of the standard lens. Then I went to wide angle, and then you can zoom like 20 times. That does look a bit pixelated though, but I guess we will see. Let's just see what the details of that photo are. So it says 1.5 megabytes, 4,000 by 3,000 still. So for the review, obviously I'm going to be able to look at it in a bit more detail. I took a little bit of video to see how that looked, and then I tried the portrait mode. Now, one thing I noticed, so from the front-facing camera, I did a regular front-facing photo, then I tried the portrait mode. It seems quite a wide-angle front-facing camera, which is good. And then I swap around to the rear-facing, just the standard lens, portrait mode on, and you can see the difference between the colours. My orange shirt looking a bit more orangey reddy even with the rear-facing lens. Obviously, I'll put a lot more effort into testing the camera a bit better for the review. This is just a first look at the device, which I think we've done. There is 2 SIM slots, just in case that's important to anybody. So it seems quite nice and slick. Oh, I turned dark mode on as well, if that's your thing. As you might have seen when we were in YouTube, I think that was in dark mode, wasn't it? Yeah. So everything seems nice and slick. I double checked. It was £399 that I paid from Wonder. I ordered it literally 6 days ago, and we've had a weekend, so it's been 4 working days. That's not bad. Delivery was £7, although there was a voucher, a discount code I used to get £5 off, so it was almost free for the extra. You can have regular, slower delivery, which I think is 7 to 15 days. We've not actually tried the free case that comes with it. Oh, I set the fingerprint sensor up as well, so let's try that too. So there's the case on. That looks okay. Feels right, feels quite grippy. The fingerprint sensor seemed very quick. I noticed as I was setting the fingerprint sensor up, it was really bright, but I guess that's one of the things. You've got a really bright screen. Maybe you can get more light to read a thumbprint. But that's certainly seen. Let's just double check. I've not set this finger up. Let's double check it's not yet. And it does seem very quick. I did face unlock. I don't know quite when that's going to kick in though. Maybe if it says it, yeah, it did say it was unlocked actually. So we're off, turn on, and it says, so the face unlock seems quite quick as well. How accurate it is, I don't know, because I did just look at the screen and said, yeah, you're done. So I'd imagine it's not the best face unlock. That could probably be fooled by a photo. I think also you can perhaps just see around the teardrop lens, there is a film screen protector installed, which I'm okay. I guess I'll leave it there. I'm not a big fan of the pre-installed ones. They're generally quite cheap and thin and a bit rubbish, to be honest. Make the screen feel a bit tacky. But early impressions, it does seem a really nice device. So give me a week or so to use it. Obviously, I'll get then the full review done. If you have any specific questions, please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, please. Leave us a comment. I do read all the comments. Check out some other videos that you might find around my channel. And I'll see you all again soon. For now, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.